Welcome. I am Asa Lanham, the Chief Executive Officer of Innovaro, and this is the third part in our series on innovation for executives. In this section, we're going to take a look briefly at innovation management, and we will distinguish innovation management from governance, and that governance is all about setting the direction, setting the strategies, and setting some of the top level processes to determine how to go about innovation. Innovation management itself is if we take a look at management, it's all about getting people together to accomplish a set of goals and objectives. Now, classic definition, it comprises the planning, organizing, staffing, and all that. This is where the rubber meets the sky in an innovation program. And a well-managed innovation program has the opportunity to provide quality results. A poorly managed innovation program can be pretty much guaranteed not to produce the results that you wanted of it. So let's take a look at what some of those decisions are that you need to make from a management standpoint and the things that you have to do. The first one that we recognize when you're doing innovation management is you've got to make a selection of a process. And there are three fundamental processes that you can pick from about driving the ideation process. How do you get to the idea? And then there's pathways from there. But you have event-driven, outcome-driven, or process-driven innovation. And you got to think about which one of those three you really want to be, because those are the fundamentals, and things really kind of fall out from there. And then you also have to make a decision about whether you're in this for sprints or a marathon. Do you want a lot of short-term results? Do you want a lot longer-term results? What's your tolerance for the results coming back on the timeline? It's how long are you willing to wait? And that's really very much dependent on the organization and the individuals. The second thing you need to really take a look at is what we refer to here as portfolio management. And portfolio management says, rather than putting everything in one basket, or as some people say, risk not thy whole wad, you have a number of investments that you're going to make in different types of innovation, different types of ideas. And our recommendation there is that you make small increments of capital. We found that when you make a big capital investment or a big commitment of capital, it's very hard to stop a program that's off base. But it's very easy to take a program that's moving along and either stutters or stalls or goes off track and just not decide to take that next step. So portfolio management is all about small increments of capital and a number of different investments. You also want to take a look as you go through the innovation process about what your capabilities are and what your maturity, right? You see this all the time in venture organizations that are venture-backed. It's someone comes in with an idea, you get it up and running, and then you've got to get it from the original idea into a productized item, then you've got to get it into the marketplace, and your skills and the management you need in that and the processes differ over time. And there are a number of companies that do great jobs with frameworks to help you walk through the capability and maturity frameworks to make sure that you've got the competencies, the capabilities, the skills, and the roles in place to be successful. And that's a very important thing to have. The last one I want to talk about here briefly is monitoring. And monitoring is a fundamental part of it. I mean, you've got to make a selection on which ideas are going to go forward. One of the things that we've seen in a lot of different ways are innovation boards. These are comprised of sometimes line management, they're sometimes staff, they could be scientists, they could be a number of different things. But what these boards do is they review ideas and they set goals and they help to allocate resources. Some of these are literally set up internally as entrepreneuring. Now, an alternate mechanism I've seen for monitoring and managing that is what I call the land stampede. It's like, okay, we're going to have this, and whoever gets to the money first, whoever gets their project done first wins. Now, when you run out of money, you stop project. So there's different ways to monitor that and manage it, and you have to really pick what's the scheme that's going to work best within your organization, and how will it work across the breadth of your organization, because that's equally important. Because the innovation is all about people. And in this, you're going to need people in a variety of roles. You're going to need champions. You're going to need evangelists, both to evangelize an innovation program as well as to evangelize ideas. You're going to need people that can help get your regular workers through innovation programs, through an innovation process. In quality, we've got black belts. We've got a whole set of other things to help people do that, to understand the process, to work through it, and to know the right questions to get to the answers. You've got facilitators, it's people that can help it with different stages of things. And last but not least, you've got collaborators. You've got people that can spend time to help you think about your idea, to work through things, to make sure those things fit and plug and play. And in order to get there, you've got to have training. And training, you know, if you think about our quality programs, we've had pretty good training for quality programs for people at a variety of levels with a variety of needs. And you have to think about how it's going to be delivered, what it's going to be organized around. You know, is it going to be organized around a process, a set of methods, the tools you use, a mindset and approach? Who's going to be trained company-wide? How are we going to get the message out there and get people competent to do this? So training is very, very important. The other one you've got to have is you've got to have innovation management. You've got to have tools. You've got to have tools that fit your process. And there are lots and lots of tools out there that you can use. Some of the tools are quote unquote paper tools. Some are electronic and digital tools, but they can do everything from help you from idea generation with brainstorming and gaming, open innovation and crowdsourcing with social media monitoring is a fundamental part of it. But you've got to be able to capture and publicize and allow collaboration and ranking and voting and all that on your ideas, but you also want to then correlate those with industry maps and do some SWOT analysis. So you've really got to think through the tools that you're going to use. And those tools then should actually be tied to your metrics program. And they should be tied to your metrics program in two ways. One is that they should support the process. They should give you a regular report that says, how many people have I managed to train? How many facilitators do I have? What's the number of events? What are the classes and the brainstorms and all those things I've done? Am I really moving this program successfully into the organization? And in support of that, you're going to want some type of a communication scoreboard or a dashboard that shows how you're doing. That's visible not only to management, but to the people involved about how you're doing. And then the second set of metrics you're really going to want are what we call the results metrics. These are all about the output. So let's be honest. Innovation is a numbers game. If you have a big innovation program and it doesn't produce anything, it's not going to be a big innovation program for long. So there you're looking at what's the number of ideas that we've produced, you know, in total. How many of them are in the pipeline? What part of those have been successful? What are they worth? What's the value, right? You might even collect the value of one of the ones that you've come up with but put on the shelf you're not going to pursue. Look at how fast they're going to be generated. How fast am I generating ideas? Am I getting to where I need to be? And where are they coming from? You know, are they coming from one location and one location only? Are they coming from a particular group? And you want to use that in order to take a look to help improve the management and the distribution of how you're doing things from an innovation standpoint. Supporting that, you've got to have a good communications program. And the communications program is about making people aware that innovation is important. I know a number of organizations that have what they call innovation days. For people in certain locations, they all get together, people showcase their new innovations. Some of them do it with video conferences, with teleconferences, all kinds of different ways to do that. And one company actually has, quote, innovation Oscars. They present awards to the best ideas. And the best ideas may not be the most valuable ideas, but they were the best ideas. Oh, and by the way, they also present awards to the worst ideas because they're not afraid to celebrate failure. You're not going to have success in innovation unless you have failure, right? And then the other things that you want with it are newsletters and newspapers. So people can see these. They want to be able to contribute. They want to know what's going on. And by making those visible about what people are doing and what they're working on, you'll get better quality input and you'll get more input. And last but not least, another one is just simply blogs where people can talk about these things, can share them with others and what's going on there. That's communications. The last step of that is recognition. And recognition is always a quandary. You know, the classic recognition is monetary, you know, and I've been in these programs. I've been in programs that give monetary recognition for innovation. And whether it's innovation that's cost saving or whether it's innovation or revenue producing, there's a check that comes with it, right? And some of them have been very generous and some have been less generous, right? But my experience has been is that it's the non-monetary recognition that's even more valuable. It's what people like. You know, when you give someone a plaque or a trophy or something they can put up on their wall, it's going to hang there forever. They're going to be proud of that. You give them a check, they're going to spend it. Once the check is gone, the recognition is gone. So non-monetary recognition is very, very important. And you really want to think about what you're going to do with that to recognize people. So that's all I have to say with respect to innovation management. I really thank you for listening, and we'll look forward to talking with you soon in our next session. Goodbye.